This is the castle of Merlinwood Forest, the site of a powerful battle between two fearsome dueling dragons, one with breath and fire, and the other ice. Once inside these walls, there is no escape but to ride the dragon as they duel in the skies. Once ice has been tamed, is it not human nature to then challenge fire?
This is E-Ticket to Yesterday, a series dedicated to exploring the history, evolution, and legacy of the theme parks and attractions that helped define the state of Florida. In 1999, Universal Orlando Resort opened a brand new theme park designed to compete directly with Walt Disney World. And at the center of it was a roller coaster that didn't just push the limits of thrill design, it redefined what a roller coaster could be. 2 tracks, 2 trains, and 1 perfectly timed illusion. For nearly 2 decades, riders came face to face with 2 dragons locked in an aerial battle, racing, twisting, and narrowly missing each other at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. This was Dueling Dragons, and this is the story of how one of the most ambitious roller coasters ever built rose, evolved, and ultimately disappeared. To understand Dueling Dragons, you have to understand the park it was built for. In the 1990s, Universal Studios Florida was still growing, competing against the scale and dominance of nearby Walt Disney World. To evolve into a full destination, Universal developed a second gate, Islands of Adventure, which opened in 1999, 1 year after the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom. Instead of a traditional layout, the park was designed as a series of islands, each fully immersive and built around a distinct theme. One of the 6 lands was the Lost Continent, a land inspired by mythology, ancient civilizations, and a world of fantasy. One section of the Lost Continent was Merlinwood, an enchanted forest filled with mythical creatures, medieval architecture, and a strong focus on magic and fantasy storytelling, leading to the Lost Continent feeling more mysterious and atmospheric compared to the other areas of the park. At the center of the Lost Continent, Universal needed a major attraction, something visually striking, technologically advanced, and impossible for guests to ignore at the new theme park. When Dueling Dragons opened in 1999, it immediately stood out, not just for its scale, but for its concept. The ride was built by Bolliger & Mabillard, a Swiss manufacturer known for smooth, high-capacity roller coasters. Each side of the track was a full inverted coaster, meaning riders were suspended beneath the track with their legs hanging freely. Each track stood around 125 feet tall, reaching speeds of about 60 miles per hour, and featured 5 inversions, including loops, corkscrews, and a cobra roll. But what made Dueling Dragons revolutionary was its interaction. Both coasters were designed to run at the same time. From the moment they left the lift hill, the trains followed carefully synchronized paths, weaving around each other in a choreographed sequence. At multiple points during the ride, the trains would come within just a few feet of each other. These near-miss moments created the illusion that the trains might collide. In reality, every interaction was precisely engineered. The timing had to be exact. Dispatch too early or too late, and the illusion will fall apart. To maintain this, the ride relied on coordinated operations, including synchronized lift speeds and carefully timed dispatches. The experience was different on each side. The Fire Dragon, Pyrock, was more aggressive, featuring tighter, more forceful elements. The Ice Dragon, Blizzrock, focused more on speed and sweeping maneuvers, creating a smoother, more gliding sensation. Guests often choose sides based on which experience they preferred, or rode both to compare. Beyond the ride itself, the queue added to the story. Guests entered a ruined castle filled with broken stonework, medieval props, and subtle environmental storytelling that suggested a long-standing battle between the two dragons. This combination of storytelling and engineering made Dueling Dragons one of the most unique attractions ever built. In 2010, Universal fundamentally changed its parks with the opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Part of the Lost Continent was transformed into Hogsmeade, bringing one of the most detailed themed environments ever created to life. Dueling Dragons was incorporated into this expansion and rethemed as Dragon Challenge. The original story of Pyrock and Blizzrock was replaced with a new narrative based on the Triwizard Tournament from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and the dragons themselves became the Chinese Fireball and the Hungarian Horntail. The queue was completely redesigned, featuring recognizable props and settings from the films, including elements tied to the tournament itself. Despite these major thematic changes, the ride system remained almost entirely the same. The track layout, speed, and dueling concept were all preserved. For many guests, the ride became both a thrill attraction and an extension of the Harry Potter world. But behind the scenes, its most important feature was about to change. In 2011, several incidents involving loose articles changed the ride permanently. Because the trains passed so closely to each other, objects dropped or thrown by riders could cross between the tracks. In multiple cases, guests were struck by these objects, including one widely reported incident that resulted in a rider losing an eye. As a safety precaution, Universal made the decision to stop dispatching the trains at the same time. The coasters would still operate, no longer as a dueling experience. This fundamentally changed the ride. The track, the speed, and the inversions were still there. The interaction, the defining feature that made Dueling Dragons unique, was gone. Without the duel, the ride became something much more standard. Two separate inverted coasters, rather than a single synchronized experience. At the same time, riders began noting that the attraction was starting to show its age. By the mid-2010s, Universal was rapidly expanding, investing in newer, more advanced attractions that used launches, storytelling, and cutting-edge ride systems to create more immersive experiences. Dragon Challenge, while still popular, was based on a late 1990s design philosophy. One focused more on physical thrills than narrative immersion. Operationally, the ride also presented challenges. Running two large coasters side by side required significant staffing, maintenance, and space, especially for an attraction that was no longer delivering its original headlining experience. And perhaps most importantly, occupied a large section of land within the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, one of the most valuable and in-demand areas of the park. Universal had already seen massive success with the Wizarding World, and expansion was inevitable. In 2017, Universal officially announced that Dragon Challenge would close permanently to make way for a new attraction. The attraction's final day of operation was September 4th, 2017. In the final weeks, fans gathered in large numbers for one last ride. Wait times stretched across the land, and many returned specifically to say goodbye to Pyrock and Blizzrock, or the Chinese Fireball and the Hungarian Horntail, depending on the version of the attractions guests were most familiar with. For some, it was about nostalgia. For others, it was about experiencing a ride that could never truly be replicated, especially in its original dueling form. Shortly after the attraction's closure, the coasters were promptly demolished. Speculations, rumors, and curiosity spread as to what would replace where the dragons once stood. In May of 2018, Universal announced that a new themed roller coaster experience was to open in the former spot of Dueling Dragons. On June 13, 2019, the site reopened as Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, a highly advanced coaster designed by Liechtenstein manufacturer Intamin, featuring multiple launches, a vertical drop track, and a heavily story-driven experience. While it represents the next generation of theme park design, it stands in contrast to what came before. Dueling Dragons was not about storytelling through screens or complex ride systems. It was about timing, motion, and the illusion of danger. In 2023, the attraction was briefly brought back in spirit during Halloween Horror Nights as Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate, a haunted house based on the ride's original concept, featuring the dragons, the castle, and the darker tone of the Lost Continent. It was a rare acknowledgement of an attraction that had already been lost. Today, Dueling Dragons remains one of the most ambitious roller coasters ever built, not just because of its scale, or dragon scale, I bet you saw that coming, but because of what it attempted to do. It turned a roller coaster into a performance, one where timing, engineering, and storytelling all had to work together perfectly. And while the dragons no longer race through the skies above islands of adventure, their legacy remains a defining part of theme park history. Thank you for tuning in to E-Ticket to Yesterday. Until next time, I'm your host, Ashley Brace.